I'm back. Thanks so much for hanging on. It's been a crazy whirlwind of a few weeks. Just been absolutely insane. Everything's fine. It's just been intensely busy. I'm sure we all have moments like that, but thank you so much for sticking around. And I've noticed, a few people have reached out to me and said, "Oh, I hope everything's all right," and all the rest of it. Everything's great. Everything's good. Just super duper busy. One of my kids has just started school. We've all had the colds and the illnesses that come with your children going back to school or going to school in the first place. And it's been kind of rainy and we've seen the weather change, and now we are definitely in autumn. So getting the drone up's been a bit of a challenge as well. So thanks so much for hanging around. We have got a bumper update for you today because it's been a bit of time. I'm going to run through what's been going on. But before I do so, I want to give a shout out to a few people who support us here. And they do so by subscribing either on Facebook or YouTube or via universalbedford.com. So a very quick shout out and thank you to X-Rex, Ronnie Dodge, QA Library, Weesty, Jamie Clow, Jimmy Kirkland, Simon Contreras, John Tim, David J. Lloyd, and Nick Richards. Thank you all very, very much. You are this video's executive producers, so thank you so much indeed. Now we're going to dip into what's happened on the site and behind the scenes over the last month. But if you want to know what happened 100 odd years ago and how we even got to this point, then if you haven't watched it yet, The Road to Bedford on this channel, it's a 30-minute mini documentary. It covers in 5 chapters how Universal Studios started turning the process of making movies into a visitor attraction all the way through to where we are right now with a world-class theme park and resort opening up in Bedford, UK. Madness, right? If you want to know what the deal is, check that story out. But I think it's time that we just throw ourselves in to the update. So here we go. Site spotlight time. Here we go. And here we are. It's time for another site spotlight where we're going to go through and check what's been going on the site. Now I'm going to lean into some fantastic updates that are being provided by Project Universal. If you're not following him, I'll be amazed if you're not. But he's been sticking his drone up in the air and he's been catching us up with all the updates, certainly while I've been out of action. So let's have a quick look and see what he's been up to. So we've got some updates here. So do you remember the transport hub that's going on the west transport hub, the flyover that they're going to be constructing and all of that from the A421 into the site? You can see here that they're starting to do a little bit of work here. Can you see that? Just down there, look, bit of groundwork, or at least the beginnings of that starting. Also doing some kind of core testing or something over here. Let's have a little bit of a look a bit further down. This is on the East Gateway, so this is Wixams train station. That seems to have been mothballed a little bit, at least while they draw up some new plans for the 4-station platform, or platform station rather. It's been a while, sorry. It's going to take me a little bit of time to get back into gear. So there we are. Right, here we are. More Wixams. Fantastic. Concrete slab has seen quite a bit of activity as well. So if you want to have a look at the concrete slab, here we go. Is this concrete slab? No, that's train station. That's concrete slab. So look, you can see here we've got a lot more going on. There's been some activity down there. So I'm going to hopefully get the drone up over the next few days and bring those updates to you. But what else has been going on? What's happening in the news? I can hear you asking. Let's have a look. So, one of the first things that happened, and this happened early in October, was Bedford had a 2040 plan, right? And that's been in existence for a few years. That's been binned off because it's kind of irrelevant now. Local Plan 2040 has no credible future because basically we're going to have this world-class tourist destination right on our doorstep here in Bedford. So they're pivoting, they're changing what their plans are, and I think that's all good. Let's have a look. What else has been going on? 30,000 people have registered their interest to work at Universal Studios, and the majority are from Bedford. There you go. 2,000 businesses also registered their interest to work with Universal to supply. We've also got a little bit of an update here from Mohammed Yassin, who's the Bedford and Kempston MP. Now, he believes, and I would trust his authority on the matter, considering, of course, that he is talking to Universal fairly regularly. He understands that the SDO will be signed off in early December. That's a little bit later than we were predicting here at University Bedford, but you know what? I think we can live with that, can't we? All right, let's have a little bit more of a look. Oh, look, there he is with a couple of Universal bods there as well. Fantastic. What else has been going on in the news? Oh, well, same story as before. Here's something more just about that those jobs that are being listed. So here we go. Representative contracts, Universal Creative, facilities coordinator, administrator of contracts, project financial analyst for the UK project, Bedford UK, senior office manager, Bedford UK, manager furniture, fixtures and equipment. Yeah, can't work without a desk. Senior construction manager, manager of contracts, junior landscape architect or designer of shows or sets. Interesting. All right. Assistant director, executive producer for the UK Park, senior project estimator, a manager of interior design, ride and show engineering. Nice. A few more on that. Landscape architect, designer production, senior graphic design manager. What we have here is effectively they're starting to fill some of these job listings now with the kind of roles that we would expect for a project and ultimately a resort of this scale. They're going to need everything from administration to creative to engineering to project work, even facilities, you name it, it's all going to be covered off here. So really fascinating to see all of that, and you can see here that if you did want to apply, you could do so. Oh, don't tell me that. I'm not going to go and I could give you my details. But you can go on the NBC Universal website and you can find out all of that more information. Right, thousands of new jobs. We know 8,000 jobs through, which will be permanent jobs when the park opens, and 20,000 jobs through construction. It's going to be around, they say, 80% of those are going to be filled by local people. So amazing news for the working population. Now, little bit of council drama. We love a bit of council drama. So there was, in one of the live streams that we actually had here on the channel, bit of a conversation about how the council wanted to set up a separate committee to ensure that Bedford as a town maximised the opportunities that Universal coming to the area would deliver. And that will take the form of the Universal Project Overview and Scrutiny Committee. That sounds about as sexy as you'd expect a local government committee to sound like. It's fascinating. Right. So effectively, they're going to put together a group. They're going to chat about some stuff on the regular. They want to insert themselves. So this project through the SDO is being applied to through central government in Westminster. Fine. It seems like local government, although they have been consulted with and engaged with throughout the whole process by Universal, feels like they're a little bit paranoid that they're going to get left out, they're going to get forgotten. This group is apparently their answer to that. I think it's fine. I just don't really think. I think it comes from this, maybe this sort of inferiority complex perhaps that the local council has because the planning permission has gone above their heads. I don't really see how this changed anything, but it makes everyone feel better. Great. If it means, if it just means that the focus of the Bedford Council is going to be on maximising the impact of Universal for the benefit of the town, then I'm happy with that. I'm on board with that. I think it's a huge opportunity. And if this is their way of maximising the opportunity for Bedford, brilliant, fantastic. Now, there was a little bit here, and that's where all of this come from. Bedford councillors clash over Universal scrutiny and government influence. Again, they're just feeling a little bit like they're being told what's happening, even though they largely support and are behind everything that's been proposed. So it's this real thing of, no, I want the thing that's happening, but because it's happening to us, or that's the perception, then they're a little bit worried. I'd be fascinated to know what you think about that. Do you think that's kind of realistic? Do you think I've got that right? Do you think maybe I'm overthinking it? Maybe I'm going a little bit down the rabbit hole. You let me know what you think, of course. Look, we're going to get back to our Thursday night lives very, very soon. And I have been working on a few things in the background to make sure that they are elevated. Combination of just complete mad busyness and completely disgusting sickness has prevented me from doing those over the last few weeks. So I am sorry, and I have missed you all very, very much, but we will be getting back to that super duper quick. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, this is kind of the places you want to be. If you want to know what's going to happen with this project, if you want to be on the front foot with the project, then this is where you've got to be. Thanks as well to Project Universal for keeping the flame burning while I've been out of action. I hope you are all well and good, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.